Hey designers, are you looking for a great book to read? Well, in this video, we're going to check out 5 books that won't help you just be a great designer, but will also inspire you to do the best kind of design work possible. Hey there, I'm John Diallo, and I'm here to help you improve your design and creative abilities. Let's check out these books. So I wanted to highlight and recommend the best books that I read this last year that had engaging stories, that highlighted good design practices, and that generally just pushed design understanding and design leadership further. So let's check out these books, and we'll do it in a countdown fashion. Number 5, Turn the Ship Around. I love this book by David Marquet because it really solidified a lot of the leadership concepts that I've been learning over the past year. And if you have been moving into leadership or you're a current leader, I highly recommend this book. In this book, Marquet actually does a great job showing the downfalls and the pitfalls of a top-down leadership model and how restraining that can be. And it can be incredibly ineffective in a design world for all the critical decisions to have a top-down approach. And he actually goes through and puts it in the context of operating a nuclear submarine because that was his background and that's what he came from. The amount of times that the people actually operating the boat would have to float a decision all the way up to the top, wait for a decision, really and often without context, and that decision to come back down and they would operate and move on was just really long. Over and over and over again, you would see this pattern of raising up a decision, waiting for movement, and then it coming back down so that we could actually execute the decision. Now, Marquet actually, as the leader of the sub, began to take the decision-making power and pushed it far down to where the problems and the situations and the people interacting with them actually were. And this was a brilliant move, but he also tried to reinforce the need for visibility at the top level. So what Marquet actually instituted was the ability for the people within the situations, the people actually operating the boat, to make the decisions while providing a constant visibility on what they're doing. So if there is ever a problem or a question about what's going on, a leader has the ability to engage, ask questions, and possibly redirect as possible. I highly recommend this book because giving designers and cross-disciplinary teams the power to effectively make decisions quickly while providing visibility to their leaders is a recipe for amazing design work down the road. Number 4, Creative Selection by Ken Kocienda. Now, this one was just a fascinating read to me because I am a huge Apple fanboy and I love hearing about the internal workings of how they actually come to building products. This book I highlighted not just because it's a compelling story and as many designers, a lot of people really love Apple, because first of all, the title is true. It is a creative selection process that Apple goes through. They are constantly iterating on ideas and ideating brand new ideas to try to bring them to market. Now, they don't just pick an idea and run with it. They actually do a long internal vetting process where they actually use or they dog food their ideas over and over again. And they will refine them over time to make them better and more usable. And where things aren't working, they chuck it and they find new ways. Or where things are working, they polish them and highlight them and make sure that they work in lots of different contexts. Now, what was amazing for me to see, and really shouldn't be all that surprising, is that Apple uses a design process from everything that they do. Whenever they're creating new solutions, they're understanding what that problem is, and then they're actually moving to create multiple different kinds of concepts and doing creative exploration, and then choosing and selecting the one that actually works best in the situation. Not just because they understand what the problem is, but because they've actually brought it into the real world, they've prototyped it, and they're actually testing it in their own environments. So Apple is doing an amazing job at creating product after product after product, not because they have the best ideas, but it's also the constant refinement and the execution and the exploration in those ideas that makes them good. So Apple has really gone all in on prototyping and testing internally as one of the main ways of vetting out their ideas. So the author just does a really great job giving us a glimpse into Apple and how they take ideas and really make them a reality through a highly refined process. I definitely recommend this book, especially if you love Apple and if you're looking for an example of how to do solid design work. Number 3, The Right Kind of Crazy by Adam Steltzner. This book I actually did another video on. You can check that video out in the link above. Moving from our other book, Creative Selection, and getting a glimpse into Apple, this book is actually an awesome glimpse into NASA and how JPL operates. Adam Steltzner was a lead on a project for the Mars Curiosity rover. and they encountered many different problems along the way and originally planned to just reuse an old pattern, an old schematic for this new plan. But as things evolved and as they learned more and more about what they were trying to do, they realized it couldn't work, and they had to reimagine the entire landing process for going to Mars. In this book, one of the things that really stood out was the concept of the dark room. And that is when you're faced with a problem and you don't fully understand it, and you really don't even know where to go. All you know is you're in a dark room. You can't see, you don't know the way out, and you're trying to find your way out. Throughout design work and throughout the creative process, you actually begin to explore ways to get out, and you learn more about your environment. You can figure out where the bounds of the problem are. Eventually, then you'll find your way out and escape the problem with a satisfying solution. And over and over and over again, the author shows how they were able to overcome problem after problem to create solution after solution, and sometimes radically wild, crazy solutions that were fantastic and worked really, really well because of the well-crafted design work that they've done. I recommend this book because seeing all the problems that the team faced over and over and over again and yet persevered to a successful mission is super inspiring. And as designers, it's great to have those stories of triumph to inspire us and to encourage us to keep going. Not only that, but the book was written with a lot of great principles that could be applied to design, and it's a fascinating story written very well, and it'll keep you captivated throughout. Number 2 is actually a series. It's Austin Kleon's Steal Like an Artist trilogy. Now, this trilogy actually is a 3-part series, and they're pretty short, but they're also very powerful. It starts with Steal Like an Artist, which is a great book showing you the importance of creativity and that nothing is ever really truly new. Everything is sort of a remix or a reinvention of some older concept. And it's important not to steal, like outright break copyright law, but it's a critical function for us to understand that we are inspired and can make new versions of our own things, make them our own, and then create new experiences based upon that. Show Your Work is the second book I read in that series, and it really highlighted the importance of creating your work, of actually making it physical and then sharing it with others and inviting them into the collaboration process. No one is an island, no one is a solo who does all of the work by themselves. They're always working with other people. And Show Your Work really does a great job of highlighting the importance and how each time we do that, we're going to make our work better and the end solution better for the people we work with. Lastly, Keep Going was a set of principles, a set of ideas to continue pushing your craft forward, continue honing and refining, and continue creating, because we can lose steam over time. So whether you're a YouTuber or you're a UX designer or you're an interior designer, an engineering designer, or whatever you might be, this book just provided a great set of encouragement with lots of practical ideas to continue moving on. Number 1 on my list from this past year, and the one that I've continued to go back to time and time again, was Originals by Adam Grant. Now, this book was extremely encouraging to me because it began to demystify how to succeed, and especially how to succeed with new products, new services, and in the world of design that we live in. Now, I highly recommend this book, and the reason it's number 1 on my list isn't just because I loved it, but because book after book after book that I read this year referred back to Adam Grant's content. Over and over and over again, people were referring back to Adam Grant's research. And so who better to hear about the ways to succeed than from the author and the person who's done the research and the analysis on that research. For me, the biggest, most important takeaway, and really there are a lot of amazing principles and a lot of discoveries that I made in this book. Go read it yourself. But the one that I wanted to share with you that was most meaningful to me was the concept of a broad set of creation. Now, one of the ideas that I was operating off of was the principle of quality and not quantity. And Grant actually sort of destroyed that notion for me. Now, we don't want to go and just produce a high volume of junk. That's unlikely to be a pattern for success. But what Grant lays out is the importance of showing that it's not one thing that we refine over time that's generally a good predictor of success. The best predictor of success that Grant showed was that there is a wide volume of production from a person. So for an author writing many good books, or for a designer creating many good different designs, a person that produces a wide set of things over a longer period of time has the best indicators for success in their field. It doesn't equate success, it doesn't mean you will be successful, but in Grant's research, a high volume over time was one of the best predictors of a person being successful. So that's it. Those are the 5 books from last year that I wanted to recommend to you. Those were the top 5 books that really changed the way that I thought about design and how I operate in the world of design. I hope you found this video helpful. If you plan to read one of these books, or if you've read one of them already, leave a comment below and let me know. If you're looking for more design-related book suggestions, check out one of these videos here. And if you're looking for more content to grow your design and creative abilities, make sure to subscribe below. Thank you so much for watching. I've been humbled and thankful for everyone who's been subscribing and watching. Happy reading, and go make something awesome.